Hi Leo, welcome. And welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. I've been repotting plants today, so my apologies for the state of my nails. Just don't look at them, okay? So we're talking about June. I hope that May has been and is treating you well. Happy Pride Month coming up in June. I can't believe we're already talking about June, of course. And if you haven't done so already, I started a new series of messages by your human design profile. I have been obsessed with human design for the last few years. And reading about my profile is what got me hooked. So that's the reason why I decided to go with a profile. There are definitely other elements of human design that are just as important, if not a little bit more. But like I said, you know, it's just an additional avenue to get you messages outside of the kind of traditional zodiac readings, really. So anyway, I invite you to check those out if it feels good for you. If you know your human design profile, of course, you can just head to the corresponding video. If you don't know your profile, you can either just Google human design chart. You'll need the same information as your natal chart. So your birth date, time, and location. Time is a little bit more important with human design because if the time isn't correct, it could affect a few different things in the chart. Of course, if you're unsure, you can go with noon. But if you have like an inkling, or if you know that you were born in the morning, afternoon, evening, then just kind of use a time, you know, like specific to the hour of the day. I also linked a website to do that in each one of those videos, so you can find it in the description. And of course, I have an Etsy store. I sell a bunch of lovely stuff. I would love for you to check it out. Shameless plug. There is also a discount code in the description that is only for YouTube folk. So let's talk about you and June. I know last month we did a 9-card spread. I can't fit 9 cards into the frame. So we're just going to do 6 cards, just 2 rows of 3. 3 is my favorite number anyway. So that works out. I thought about like doing like 2 rows of 4 and I was like, no. Oh, so okay. When it starts getting like that, I know that it's ready. And then I have to shuffle a few times to be sure the card is kind of reincorporated in there if it wants to come back out again. Okay, I know. Thank you. 2 more. Here we go. Interesting. Okay. The 5 of Voices. That has been coming out a lot. 8 of Materials. 7 of Voices. Muse of Inspiration. That was one of the cards that fell out. 2 of Inspiration and Ace of Materials. Ooh. And then the Fool at the bottom of the deck. Okay, so we'll just work our way through as we do and talk about each one of these cards. So we start with the 5 of Voices here, which is the 5 of Swords. Swords have to do with our thoughts and our intellect, right? It's the way that we perceive things. It's the way that we think about things. I also attribute it to our ego because that's generally where our ego lives, is in our minds. And traditionally, the Five of Swords talks about, I always kind of see it as like a battle of wits. And that could be, sorry about that. So, so with the Five of Swords, like I said, it could be a battle of wits. And it's a little bit of like mental gymnastics, right? Like kind of having to, the fives talk about conflict, a little bit of competition, but they're transitionary energies. But interestingly enough, like with this Five of Swords, it doesn't feel like that at all. This Five of Swords, you know, I mean, we have these people down here meditating. There's this olive branch that's being offered here. This is kind of like a peace offering. This could even be, calming your thoughts, or trying to even like get better control over the way that you perceive things. There's also, you know, this intersection here between like a point of view. So, you know, I mean, this certainly can involve other people, and it could have to do with work. It could have to do with relationships. It could have to do, you know, so it would really kind of be dependent on your situation. And relationships can be romantic, platonic. But again, you know, like there's this peace offering here in the middle. That's almost kind of suggesting that there is a middle ground that can be reached here. Like somewhere in the middle, right? Like there's a point where both of these point of views are crossing. And then we have the Muse of Inspiration, which is the King of Wands. And again, you know, I mean, we have these figures who like, you know, their heads are coming together. I mean, wands deal with action, communication. I also see them as being information, like information coming in. And the King of Inspiration, or the King of Wands, is kind of like the ultimate creative. In one of my decks, it's called the Creative Genius. It's definitely somebody who is going to kind of follow the beat of their own drum. And when we talk about the king, that's the highest expression of a suit, right? So, you know, it's embodying, but also being able to share that knowledge and that experience and that information with other people. So there could be a leadership role coming up here. Like you could be taking on some sort of leadership role. Maybe somebody needs to kind of step up, like, and actually, you know, kind of take command of the situation. And maybe that's what neither person wants to do, or nobody in the situation wants to do. But again, you know, it's kind of like putting your heads together for a common goal or a common solution. Because this whole path, you know, it leads, there's all these lines here. and they're parallel, right? So it might even be just recognizing that there is an intersection happening here. And instead of your ideas crossing paths, you know, it's about kind of allowing those things to become parallel instead of perpendicular. Is that right? And then we have the Eight of Materials, or the Eight of Pentacles, which talks about money, how we make our money, how are we spending our time. It also talks about our physical body. This is a card of Virgo also. So it's cool that, you know, like you're showing up kind of right in the middle of your own reading. But with the Eight of Pentacles, it's about like focusing an energy into mastering something. Like this is focused attention. But in this card too, you know, I mean, she's definitely juggling many different things. So there might just be a lot of plates spinning at the same time. You might have a ton of different responsibilities to have to deal with at the same time. And maybe this is, you know, it's kind of like you're not necessarily sure like what to kind of focus on first. Or maybe you're feeling like there's not one specific thing that you're even able to focus on at one time. And this could be saying there may be an opportunity to get creative and even delegate things. Like if there is a lot on your plate, you know, there may be things that you could delegate to other people, or at least ask for a little bit of assistance, which I know is so hard to do, but I'm just saying it. I'm offering it out there. There could be a lot of different interests involved, right? And then we have the Two of Inspiration here, which is the Two of Wands. And we see this figure down here with the telescope, kind of looking towards the future, right? Like, what am I going to do next? What do I want to focus my, my energy on? Again, you know, with inspiration being wands, it does talk about creation, passion, inspiration. Like, what is the thing that inspires you? What is that spark of passion? What is the possibilities, or what are the possibilities here? Looking forward. How do you want this to go, right? And then the Seven of Voices here is the Seven of Swords. No, excuse me. Did I say Virgo earlier? That's weird. Have I been saying Virgo this whole time? I hope not. And if I did, and if I have, I apologize. Forgive me. I know we're talking to Leo. What a little. But even so, you know, here you are too, like still showing up. I mean, this is fire energy with the wands, right? Again, I'm sorry. So, Seven of Voices, or the Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords is generally like a little bit of a trickster energy. It can signify betrayal. It can signify manipulation. You know, again, like there's this, you know, kind of battle of wits thing going on. It's, you know, kind of being sneaky. And I think sneaky, there's a thin line. And, you know, like the difference is your intention. And I think that's why there's a couple foxes on here, because, you know, they're just kind of like tricky, playful, you know, kind of energy. And, you know, that we're also just kind of seeing the two sides because, you know, we have this figure with, you know, the sunlight, and then this one looks a little sinister here. Like just her face, right? I love this kind of portal that we have right there. Clearly there's a bridge to it. So this almost kind of feels like I said, you know, like it really just getting clear on your intention here. Actually, between these two things, like what do you intend for the outcome to be? The Seven of Swords also talks about taking a risk. Which feels more what this card is saying, because I feel like, you know, if the card were to come out in the reverse, that, you know, this would almost kind of signify it being kind of that lower level energy, like, you know, just kind of that more tricky, kind of like warning type energy, but this doesn't really feel this way. Like this could also even be being careful of smoke and mirrors. Like there could be an invitation to, or an offer of some type to explore something new. And this to me, you know, it could just say either analyze the risk, get as much information as you can out of the situation. You know, like do as much research as you can about the like if it's a job, because we have the Ace of Materials underneath here, which would signify a new job or new offer. You know, again, Pentacles can equate to health. How are we spending our time? And the Ace of Pentacles would be something new. So it's interesting because I'm even getting like, and again, you know, I think it's going to be a little bit of a warning on both sides, because I'm also kind of getting like, you know, it may seem too good to be true, but like it's not necessarily like a scam or a trick or anything like that. But I swear it's like, the more I stare at the card, it's like, it's almost like I'm like getting kind of lost in it. Like I don't necessarily know whether it can be trusted or not. What do you guys think? It's interesting because I almost kind of feel like I'm being triggered. Because it would be like somebody would be presenting as this energy, right? Like normal, human, emotionally capable, right? But really this, you know, like after a few months and they get exhausted from kind of playing up this facade, then this person comes out. And it's like, oh, what the hell? Because seriously, like this almost looks a bit like robotic, like a shell, the more that I stare at it. And I'm going to have to stop. So again, you know, I mean, just be aware maybe. And don't let your guard down, I guess, very easily or quickly. And like I said, if it is a job or if it is some sort of like new opportunity, even if it is, I am not a medical person at all. And I'm not trying to, you know, I'm not trying to cause like distrust or anything. I'm just saying like, you know, either like just kind of follow your own intuition. Because it's also interesting how the colors in this card are like the same colors as down here. Very interesting. And then we have the Fool at the bottom of the deck. And the Fool talks about literally a leap of faith. This is the brand new beginning. This is the beginning of a new journey. And we have the Nine of Swords behind there, which generally talks about like anxiety, kind of losing sleep over some things. I don't know why. Do I feel like Leo has been going through something over the last few months? Have you? It's almost kind of like you're trying to, like, it's this kind of continuous, like you're trying to get out of some funky situation. Like, I mean, you've been really kind of putting in a lot of work and like really focusing a lot of energy in between, you know, like all this is like right between these two kind of heavy mental cards. And then this is saying that, you know, there's either a creative outlet or maybe trying to find a creative outlet. Again, you know, I mean, with the King, there's a leadership, a kind of authority type energy that comes along with it. The Two of Inspiration is, you know, kind of looking for a direction to take or just trying to decide on which direction to take. Just kind of seeing like what's out there. And it's almost kind of like you're not finding maybe, because all of this is all white, right? Like there's, in here, there's all the orange and yellows. It almost kind of looks a bit deserty, but like out here where the telescope is, there's like nothing. And maybe that's just kind of been how you're feeling. And you're like kind of looking for this, like this could be what you are looking for, is this kind of abundance and nature and having your needs met. Like going from this orange here, which is sacral energy, to heart. And I'm just going based off of, you know, the colors here. And the sacral does talk about creativity, right? This could even be, you know, the creative outlet thing could definitely be some sort of art or some sort of creative project that you could potentially make money on. This could even be imposter syndrome. This whole thing up here, actually, now that I'm like, I'm coming out of like this here, this energy that I feel like I just kind of got like sucked into, this could be imposter syndrome. These two, these two could be imposter syndrome. Like you could be, you know, really kind of trying to put your energy into practice and, you know, almost kind of maybe even developing your own kind of unique signature with some sort of art or hobby that you're interested in. And again, like, you know, the things that you're telling yourself are not that great. But we go from the Five of Voices here, where there's this olive branch getting offered, to the Ace of Materials at the end, which would signify a new beginning. There's an offer coming in of some type, and that would either, you know, like bring more income. It would be a new stream of income, maybe even an additional stream of income if you need it. It could be something that you like, something new that you are committing your time and your energy into. Which, you know, I mean, could kind of set you on a new course here, a new path, because that is what the Fool is. That is the beginning of a new journey. Good. I'm glad. I'm glad that came together. And I hope one of those stories resonated with you. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. I'm going to leave it there and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.